Let's begin by rubbing our hands together. I'm Cyndi. I'll be working with some movements called Gong today. Shake out the hands, Gong. Qi means energy, Gong means work. So we're cultivating and working our energy. Noticing as you shake out your hands, just let that go and feel that movement up into the elbows and the shoulders. Good. Lift those shoulders and keep shaking. Good. We'll keep the legs rooted into the earth, maybe a little slight bend in the knees. Just keep shaking the hands and the arms. Good. We're moving through the wrists in different ways to get the energy flowing. Do what feels right for you. If you need to modify anything, certainly modify. Let's go ahead and roll through those wrists, bring them together as you're imagining winding something around and back the other way. Good, and one more time, give it a good shake. Move the wrists the opposite direction. And then pause and close your eyes. Bring your attention to your hands. Notice what you feel. Continually bring our attention back to sensation. And noticing just that little bit of time and movement created a shift in our awareness of where our energy is located. Our hands might feel a little puffy, or all kinds of different sensations can arise. Tingling, heat, even looking at the hands, they might be a little pinker. Always a good sign that you're moving energy. Now, if energy is a new term for you, just think of it as circulation. Energy follows the blood flow. Now, with the knees slightly bent and your feet are apart, let's say hip and a half's width apart, go ahead and start bending the knees and keeping the knees bent. Let's just bounce a little bit gently in the knees and imagine that you're shaking dead leaves off a tree in the fall. Let your arms begin to shake again and add a little twist in the spine. And we're going to begin this way and then let ourselves break out and break free into any kind of spontaneous movement that feels good. Spontaneous movement means it's unique for you. So it doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. It just has to feel good. Yes, it just has to feel good. And it's about unwinding some of the patterns that we repeat over and over, especially if we play tennis, for example, or do any kind of playing an instrument or sport that requires us using one side of our body more than the other. Writing, sitting at a computer, any of these kind of postures that we do for long periods of time at a time, that creates patterns in the body, and sometimes it creates patterns of stagnation and stuckness or being wound tight. And by letting our body move in different ways, unlike a yoga class or our typical Qigong practice where we move in the same way on both sides of the body, there's no rhyme or reason. We can just feel the heaviness of the body being drawn to the earth. And this practice is also known as drunken Qi. So it actually can look like you're drunk because you allow the body to relax, allow the musculature to relax and almost collapsing to a point of falling over and then catching yourself. And this actually trains the body and the mind to be more in communication with each other, not in a predictable way, but in a way that we are adapting in the moment. So I hope that that was fun for you. It was intended to be, but also intended to kind of bring out some of our blind spots and let some of the energy that's normally stuck start to flow. So speaking of flow, we're going to be flowing with the breath, but letting the arms kind of ride on that breath as we inhale and draw the arms overhead. And then exhale, let the hands come down behind the head and then press out, sink into the knees and let the arms come down. It's a gentle, easy breathing practice. We're going to add a 4-count inhale as we draw the arms overhead, a 7-count hold as we bring the hands down, Press out. And an 8 count exhale. Good. This breathing pattern is known as the relaxation breath. Inhale 4 counts. Hold the breath in for 7. Keep the arms moving. Try to keep the fluidity of the movement going without starting and stopping. Go right into your exhale and let the arms come slowly down. 8 counts. Good. And again, inhale 4. Let your gaze look up, bringing the energy up. Hold for 7. Notice the movement and the timing of the arms. Exhale 8 counts. One more round. Inhale 4. Hold 7. And here's the key. 8 count exhale. Either through the nose or through the mouth, depending on what's more comfortable for you. Good. Now bring the backs of the hands together. Inhale up. Heel toe the feet out a little wider, and exhale, bring the hands down onto the thighs. And let's take and create our landmarks for today. We have the orchids on this side of the room. Good. And we have a lantern on this side of the room. So we're going to take the shoulder closest to the lantern towards the opposite knee and create a little twist here in the spine and a nice stretch for the hip. And then let the arm dangle, creating a circle with the arm and just freeing up that shoulder and any patterns in the shoulder that we can unwind with this movement. Let's invite more space and freedom, and then reversing direction with that movement. The whole weight of the arm just dangling there, drawing energy out of the shoulder that's congested. Now, as we come up, we're lifting up, bend the elbow, and we'll shift our weight over towards the lantern with the bent elbow, and then let the arm get heavy again, fall back to earth as gravity pulls it back to the earth. Inhale. Imagine drawing a circle with that elbow. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Mobilize the energy. Exhale to fall. Stabilize the energy. One more on this side. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Let's bring both hands together, create a ball of energy, and then stir that energy around like a figure 8, holding that ball between the hands. Create this pattern up the front of the body, known as the Celtic weave. Good. Integrating all the different non-physical and invisible energy fields that do exist, even though we can't see them. We're swimming in a sea of energy, just like fish are swimming in water and they don't know what water is. We're swimming in energy and we don't necessarily know what it is. We can't really conceive of it because it's invisible, but we're learning to conceive of it through slow movements and starting to feel the subtle realms. Hands back onto the thighs. Inhale, pull hands up. Exhale, slide hands down, sink down into your stance. Knees go wide, so we sink and expand the knees, and then taking that shoulder closest to the orchid over towards the lantern. Turn and look back. Get a nice stretch here. Breathe into it. On your exhale, just let the hands slide right off the knee. Like feel that collapse. Feel that energy of collapse. And let the arm dangle. So in terms of physics, we think about collapsing a wave pattern. Wave patterns that become repetitive form, structure, and form, reverse direction. And when we collapse that wave, we collapse the pattern and we make space for a new pattern. And that's what we're doing when we're doing our Qigong, is moving out congested patterns and stagnant patterns and creating flowing patterns. And we'll draw the shoulder up and the elbow sink into the side towards the orchid and let the arm go. Imagine each time we rise on an inhale, ride that wave up, and exhale, sink down and feel that collapse every time. Feel things just collapsing into the support of the root system in the legs. Exhale. Feel that matching energy of falling into gravity and letting go of stress. Resistance to gravity, letting it go. One more. Now bring the hands together, catch that ball of energy, and again, imagine creating a weave as you rock your weight from side to side. Create that pattern, weaving in front of the body. As you rise up, bring that pattern up, weave it over the heart. So we're working with these 3 energy centers below the navel, at the chest or the heart, and then in the center of the head. These 3 centers, known as energy centers, can also be called elixir fields or medicine fields. This time, let the hands come straight down the center. Imagine a column down the center of your body, which we have physically called a spine, but we have an energetic column down the center of the body, and we're learning how to bring the energy into that center and draw down towards the earth. Press your palms into the earth. If you need to bend your knees, certainly bend your knees. If you're doing this in a chair, you can do this in a chair. Bend forward and touch the floor if you can, or reach in that direction. This is called pressing earth. From here, we'll reach out and draw big circles around the outside of the feet, and then around the front of the toes, and then dragging the fingers up the inside of the legs, tracing the meridians up the inside of the legs. Bring the backs of the hands together like you're drawing energy up a straw, and reach the arms out. This is called a chi shower. Good. Let yourself come forward, hinging at the hips, bend forward, pressing earth, hands pressing to the earth. Bend the knees as needed. Reach around, gathering and drawing and tracing up. Backs of the hands come up like energy being drawn up a straw. Bring that earth energy up towards heaven, and then let the heaven energy come down towards earth. Nice and slow, bring the palms together in front. Good, let's take that foot closest to the lantern and slide it back. Bring the hands on the hips and create little stirs here. If you're trying to drill a hole in the earth with that big toe, bringing attention to the big toe brings blood flow to the feet. Reverse direction and feel that spiral energy move up the foot, to the ankle, into the knee, and into the hip. Nice. Now the top of the foot comes to the floor. If this is comfortable for you, put a little pressure on the top of the foot, stretching the fascia on the top of the foot. Release the arms. And as that leg comes forward, bring that same arm forward. Bend the elbow, bend the knee, and hold. Here's your balance challenge. Take the hand, palm up across the body, and then turn the palm down and brush the knee back into place. Challenging our balance. Sitting in your stance, let your roots sink into the earth. Let your arms draw forward as you inhale. And exhale, let the arms draw back. We'll do a couple of these gentle flowing motion breaths with this very basic, common Qigong movement, combining the breath with the movement and our intention or our visual image of seeing energy rising up into the body, circulating through the body, supporting the body, and then exhaling anything that's not supporting the body. And bring the hands out front again. Catch a ball of energy right at the navel center. Pull down, hold. Shoulders roll back. Good. Let's bring the elbows out and the palms kind of scoop under that ball of energy. We'll scoop under, out in front on top, sliding back with that leg. Go ahead and do the same thing on this side, posting our weight in the opposite leg. And now the leg closest to the orchid is getting the spiral energy all the way up the leg to the hip. Visually see it, reverse direction. Yeah, that imagination is so key here. We want to imagine seeing this spiral energy moving up the leg. Let the arms come to the side, posting the weight in the standing leg. Take the top of the foot, sink down into that foot with a little pressure if that's compatible with your flexibility, strength, and balance. If not, modify. You can be doing this in a chair as well. Slide the arm forward, slide the foot forward, the leg forward, bend the knee, bend the elbow, and hold your posture for balance. Now here you can still balance with just the big toe on the earth. If you can lift that foot, that's great. Just go with that, or anything in between is just fine. Take the hand across the body, palm up, turn the palm down, brush the knee and come back to our stance. Back right into it, flowing breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Doing great. We want to imagine and create this energy of fluidity where one movement flows right into the next. We don't have a lot of pausing and setting up, but we flow from one thing to the next seamlessly to keep the brain in that alpha state of relaxation. Heightening our capacity to relax, to trust ourselves, to trust life is the best thing we can do for our immune system and to activate the medicine within. 2 more, and let's slow these down. We'll do some slow motion movements. Inhale up and exhale down. Notice how challenging it is to slow down and to try to coordinate the slowing down of the movement with stretching that breath out a little fuller and a little longer. So not only do slow movements allow us to feel more, but slowing down the breath takes us right into those altered states of the brain of relaxation that invoke healing responses. Hands come over the head this time. And as we press out away from the back of the neck, imagine taking any heavy energy off the back of the neck and let the hands come back down in front of the spine near the navel and draw up the front of the spine over the head. And because we carry a lot of tension on the neck, we'll pull that off. Imagine seeing heavy, congested, dense energy coming off the back of the neck. Anything that keeps the cerebral spinal fluid from flowing begins energetically, eventually becoming physical. This one more time, pulling stress off the neck and scooping those hands down. And let the hand closest to the lantern come underneath and support the hand closest to the orchid, and we'll draw the hands up to the chest and then push outward and pull back on those fingers, getting a stretch on the wrist. And pull back with that elbow, scrub the rib with the elbow, pointing the fingers down, push the palm forward as you pull back on those fingers with the opposite hand, stretch the wrist. Again, elbow back, turn the fingers up, point the wrist towards the earth, come forward, slowly, slowly, slowly coming forward. Bend the elbow and bring the hand behind the head, curl the fingers and clasp them, and take that elbow towards the opposite side of the body with a side bend. Turn and look up at the elbow if that feels safe and comfortable for you. And then release both arms. Take the hand closest to the earth, scoop underneath. Take the hand closest to heaven and come down. compressing the energy along the spine. Turn that ball of energy over. Come back to hands at navel center, raising the energy over the head and behind the head. Good. Let the hands come back down. This time, hand closest to the orchid comes underneath. And we raise the energy up to the heart. Palms face the heart. And then we press outward and pull backwards simultaneously, stretching the top of the wrist. And pull the elbows back next to that side. Point fingers down. And draw fingers back with the opposite hand. Another inside wrist stretch on this side. Should feel good. Modify if it doesn't, adjust. Come back one more time and do it the opposite way with the fingers pointing up. This time continue moving the arm forward and up and over, clasping the fingers and drawing ourselves into a side bend with a rich stretch for the tricep. Look up if that's safe on your neck. And then when you're ready, separate heaven and earth. Push top hand up, bottom hand down. Hold the stretch. Good. Adjusting your attention forward in front of the spine. Bring the hands forward and compress the energy. You start to feel as you move slowly that the hands coming together are really feeling a little density with the energy the closer they come together. And then turning that over, creating a ball and expanding that out. So let's see if we can just get a sense of feeling the energy as we sink in towards the body, palms coming closer towards the center of the spine. Does the quality of the energy or the sensation in the hands change there? And then as we come out, the energy gets thinner, harder to perceive with the hands. Relax the hands, shake them out, and then do it again. Come in with soft, relaxed, intuitive, inquisitive, curious hands to feel what's here. And go out into the thinner space and the subtler energy. And then let the hands come down. And pull the hands up towards the heart. We'll shift our weight into the leg closest to the lantern. Pick up the toes of the leg closest to the orchid. Turn the palms down, and we'll shift our weight into that forward leg and push up. From here, let's keep our lower body stationary. So you see there's a bend in the front knee. Back leg is straight and the foot's turned at an angle. We're not in a super wide stance. We want to be in a comfortable stance because we're going to be really putting some responsibility on these legs, and we want them to be able to handle that. So there's a couple ways to do this. With the hands out here, we're going to begin by drawing a big circle with the hands as if you're gathering something. We'll call it energy. You can use your imagination and gather what you like. Now notice as the elbows come back and scrub the ribs, the wrist also brush the ribs, and then the fingers brush the ribs, and then the arms extend back. Notice we're still in the lunge here, and then releasing the tension on the top and the front of the shoulder. Just let go of that tension. Tension is there to hold the arms up. As you let it go, arms naturally swing right back into position. Now, for those that want to challenge themselves, keep your roots rooted. So with the arm movements, we remain stationary with the lower body. And those that want to and tire easily in the legs, you can rock out of that lunge as you come back. And then rock into it as the arms come forward. So choose the method that feels the most supportive for you today. Supportive meaning the balance between challenging and beneficial, right? So not so challenging that you're uncomfortable and it's not beneficial in the end, but challenging enough to feel an effect and to build strength. Using that imagination, using that breath, combining it with the movement. So we inhale to gather and see yourself gathering something beneficial, drawing it towards the lungs, seeing the lungs absorb that, reaching around, opening up the heart, and then releasing anything off the shoulders and the chest that's not supporting as we do this again. Let's do this one nice and slow. Our slow motion Qigong we talked about in the newsletter, getting our man dong on. We're going to make a transition in this next one into the other side. So the arms come up, and then we'll take the arm closest to me, draw it up and around to create a big opening across the chest, the heart and the lungs that we were giving our attention to. Shift the weight out of the lunge, pick up the toes, turn both toes towards the screen, towards me, and bring your hands together and lift those hands up and over the head. Behind the head, we'll continue this pattern of clearing stress and tension off of the neck. And then take the hands and pull them up to the heart, shifting our weight into the leg closest to the orchid. Pick up the toes closest to the lantern, turn. Good. Position yourself in a lunge. Turn that heel out a little on that back leg to get comfort in the hip. And then push hands forward. So as we push hands forward, we're not pushing shoulders forward, keeping the shoulders, hips aligned in our stance. So when the upper body moves forward, it moves forward because the legs are moving it forward. And then the arms extend. And then we take and gather and draw back, imagining receiving a great gift into the lungs and heart, and releasing anything that gets in the way of our ability to receive what the heart and lungs need. Good, letting ourselves be surprised and delighted by maybe something more than we expected being offered through the imagination. Just allow yourself to be curious, be playful in the gathering of what could be called original cause, or the life force energy, or the prenatal energy, that energy that you were born with, that's been circulating throughout your body your whole life. It's always with you. We're just intentionally massaging it, just like you would get a physical massage. This is an energetic massage. Now, those that would like to add the leg movements, if the legs are getting too hot and on fire, go ahead and shift out of the lunge, come back, bend the back knee, get a stretch in the ankle, and then shift the leg into the front knee as the arms come forward, and try that on and see what feels better for you today. And you can also go between those two and work with what's supportive. Let's do two more, and you choose what version of this you want to do and slow it down. Notice the sensation in the hands as you slow down. It's really palpable. Feel the difference in the hands as you slow things down. Energy's building. I feel it definitely. A little puffiness in the hands. Here we go, our transition now. Come up and keep the arm moving. We're flowing, remember, right from where we are to where we're going without pausing. Lift the toe, turn forward, square the feet, and drop the arms and raise the arms up that straw. Remember, pulling energy up the straw. Pulling energy up from the roots, up the torso, into the branch of the arms, and then we'll press the arms out. And let the hands come back again. Hand closest to the lantern on the bottom, shifting the weight into that leg. Pick up the toes of the opposite leg. We'll pick up the hands, turn in that direction, and press down. Good. Now bring the arms out in front again as we did before. Now this time we want to bring the hands to the heart and find your stance here. We're going to be keeping a nice steadiness in the core and in the lower body. And we'll do some movements through the spine, adding a little bit of spiral energy from the roots up into the torso. Here's how it looks. Hands come over the heart with the palms facing the heart. And as we turn the pelvis, the hands naturally brush over the heart because the shoulders follow that rotation. And once the hands come off of the chest, palms turn down to the earth, and then we reach around and back, gathering, and now palms coming towards the body, towards the torso, towards the heart, like, I don't know, satellite dishes, or you can use whatever term you'd like, or image mirrors, turning towards the heart. Good. Solar panels, whatever you'd like to imagine here. Your hands are like magnets, collecting energy for the heart and lungs, and then passing through and offering that energy. You can feel as the hands come across the heart, this magnetic energy between the heart and the hands. If you move slow enough, and if you lay an image on your body from your mind of something actually here where you can actually see the palms of your hands connecting to the heart. Imagine strings of energy. What you imagine turns into sensation and creates a flow in that area. So wherever we're putting our attention is where this life force we've been talking about is going to go. So we're putting our attention where we want it to be directed. So eventually when we get into a situation where we need more energy in any part of our body to heal an injury, or just because it's deficient for some reason, we can use our mind to simply direct energy to any part of our body at will. Notice how slow we're moving, and notice that front leg, the knee stays stationary. It's not rolling in as I rotate back. Now for those who are tiring in the legs, which is really common and totally understandable, what we can do to modify that is you can, again, rock in and out of that lunge with your mild twist so that you give the leg a little break. It's okay to feel tiredness in the leg. This means the energy is moving into areas that it's otherwise been locked out of. And that feeling of tiredness is energy pushing against stagnation. So we create this flow, and we're going to flow with the hands back to the heart and put the weight in the leg. Now push off that leg and step the feet together. Hold the hands to the heart. If it's helpful, you can close your eyes here. And we just want to feel this magnetic connection that we created with our intention and our visualizing. And then begin to pull the hands a little further away from the body, from the torso. Push the hands down towards the earth. And then reach around to the sides, gather that energy. Pulling the hands up. Good. Now your standing leg is going to be the leg that we just worked. And as you pull the energy up, use that leg to post your weight. Pick up the other leg. Now you're going to externally rotate the hip and turn out. Good. I'm going to have to step back a little. Adjust as you need to. Find your lunge. Hands to the heart. We'll do the same thing on this side. Good. And when you're ready, let the hands come down and around. Either staying in your lunge or rocking in and out of the lunge, but moving slowly. If you can time your breathing with the movement, that can start to bring everything into a synergistic flow. But we won't sacrifice the breath for the movement, meaning no holding the breath, regardless if you can get them timed perfectly or not. Stretching out and slowing down the movement is key. If you have to take 2 breaths in 1 repetition, that's fine. We'll try to practice eventually stretching the breath out as long as we can, to bring our brain into that state of relaxation, which is heightening our nervous system and circulating what's called the internal medicine. Now at this point your leg might be getting tired, so you can begin to rock into the roots, but making sure the knee stays supported over the ankle. And we'll do 2 more really slow. Notice the fingers are heavy. There's no tension in the fingers. They're relaxed. And you can feel the gravity in the body and in the earth finding each other through the direction of the fingertips reaching towards the earth. Now sink back, take the hands to the heart. Good. Lift up and set. Gather and draw. This is called gathering breath. Inhale, gathering the resources around you. So sometimes the resources come from the earth and sometimes they come from other heavenly bodies, if you will. It's the natural life force energy that flows through the entire universe. So it's not limited just to the earth, although circulating energy awareness around the body that is of the earth is ultimately healing as well. Good. This time, bring the hands straight up in front of the spine and over the head, just like we did. And we'll do 1 more pass for the neck. Press out. Good. Sink into those legs. Sink into those legs. Draw the arms forward like you're holding a big ball. Pull the hands in a little bit, fingers pointing towards each other, elbows dropping, shoulders relaxed, and we're working those legs again. So find what works for you. This could be done in a chair. If your legs are getting shaky, it's very common, it's natural. It's actually the intention. We want to get the legs to the point where they're a little tired, a little shaky, a little wobbly. These standing poses in Qigong are the bedrock of the practice. They really are the backbone of the practice. And the idea is to bring some heat to the feet, bring some heat to the legs and the roots. Most of our energy gets consumed by the internal organs, so it all stays inside the torso. To bring the energy out into the arms and legs is a key for longevity. We don't want all the energy to be stored in the center and not circulate into the hands and feet. One more breath, make it nice and long. And as you exhale, bring the hands in and down, palms together. Good. Check your stance out. You might want a little wider stance for this. Someone mentioned swimming dragon in our book study today, so I'll do a version of it. There's a few different versions. I'll do one that I think is probably the easiest. Hands together at the heart. I'm going to press the palms over in one direction and look in that direction as we lean in the opposite direction. And then, like you're going down a half circle, come to the opposite side. And notice the movement along the spine. And like I said, there's many versions to this. I'm doing the simplest one. If there's a version you learn that you like better, you're welcome to do it. And we'll move into one that's a little more challenging called snake. Similarly, working the flexibility of the spine. Now with snake, we're going to put our weight into the leg closest to the lantern and use that strength of that leg to push off and bring the feet together. Nice. Now the feet are together, so you don't have as wide of a platform to work with, meaning this will challenge your balance more. Now as the hands come to one side, move the hips to the other. And do that side to side. So this could be the version of dragon that you learn too. Different traditions have different names for different things. Ultimately, the ideal is to see energy rising up the spine and feel it and move away any blockages along the spine through these movements of shifting the vertebrae side to side in opposing directions to create openings along the spine to support the flow of that river of life that moves through the center of the body and from which all the organs get their life force fed. Now bring the hands over the head, interlace the fingers and press up through the heels of the hands, and then come onto the pads of the feet, lift the heels. And as you stretch the arms out to the side, let your heels land down gently and softly with control. Now, not everybody's able to do that, and that's fine. You don't have to lift your heels if that's not supported. You will bend your knees, reach down, clasp your fingers, come up. As the hands come to the heart, turn towards the heart. We extend them out. And for those that want to, come up onto the pads of the feet as you bring your hands over the head. Try to keep a bend in the elbow and then push up through the heels of the hands as you fire into those calf muscles, pumping the blood back to the heart, and then slowly sink down, land, and we'll do it again. Gather. Lifting. Pressing heaven, or lifting heaven. This can be also called lifting heaven. Good, and reaching outward. We'll do that again. In the next one, we're going to add pressing earth. So we inhale, lifting heaven, reaching outward, landing gently on the heels, and then coming down and pressing earth. Now again, bend the knees, reach out, gather those circles that we did. Pull the hands up, tracing the front of the legs. Interlace the fingers, come up. Turn the hands outward. Again, lifting heaven, reaching outward, landing gently, and pressing earth. So as we press earth, we want to bring the palms flat to the earth, create a diamond, if you will, with the index fingers touching and the thumbs touching. And then reach around, gather earth, draw it up, the roots of the tree, the legs, clasp the fingers, bring it to the heart, extend it out and over. The last one, reaching outward, and let the heels come down gently, landing, good, and shaking. Separate the feet, kick it out, and we'll take the heel to the opposite glute. We've done a lot with the legs today with that root system. We want to make sure to not add stagnant energy by continually inviting circulation there. Now roll the shoulders back. We'll do some tapping to finish, and that will be a nice way to bring this to a close. Let the hands come overhead, take a big breath in. So gathering nature's healing resources and bringing the hands down, crossing at the wrists, take the hands and let them rest just in front of the shoulders. Close your eyes for a moment and just notice what you're tapping into here as you bring your hands over your chest. This is called heart protection. What does that mean for you and how does it feel? And then gently brush your hands down your arms. Rub your hands together. Good, feeling the heat in the hands. And imagine calling energy from the heart out the arms and into the hands. And then taking the hands and placing them over the eyes. Heels of the hands over the eyes and imagine penetrating the optic nerve with the energy coming from the heart and the hands and letting the brain receive this energy to sharpen our instincts of logic and discernment, and let the fingers slide down and tap on top of the cheekbones, just under the eyes, go out to the side and back in. Nice, and bringing the hands down to the jaw, tapping on the jaw. And down the side of the neck and around the back of the neck. I'm using the tips of my fingers. You're welcome to use soft fist or open palm. And let the hands land right on top of the collarbone. Tap here, called the K27 or the kidney, the end of the kidney meridian, giving it a good tap. And moving out to the lung point below the collarbone, towards the shoulder. And then going underneath to the side of the ribs. Give it a good tap. All the way around to the back and into the kidneys, tap. Alternating or together, whatever feels natural and intuitive for you. Tap down and around the sacrum. Out and around the hips. Into the quad. Where the leg inserts into the pelvis. Give it a good tap. Take the knife edge of the hand and just go and trace that really fast, like you're rubbing your hands together, creating that same friction and that same heat. And then bring the backs of the hands together. Open up through the heart and let the arms come down. Take the hand closest to the lantern and bring it to the opposite shoulder. Support that elbow with the opposite hand and do a little neck massage with me here. Massaging the side of the neck. In case we created any tension in the neck from our practice, we can free that up. Tap on the top and around the back to the trapezius. And extend the arm and keep tapping. Down the inside of the arm. Up the top side of the arm. Over the shoulder and again down the inside. Up the top side. Down and underneath the armpit. Down the side. Come across the chi belt. And again, tap right here. Knife edge. Extend the arm closest to the orchid and bring it across. Take the opposite hand, support that elbow and give it a good rub. Be the side of the neck here. Really reaching around those fingertips, gripping, squeezing where it feels good. This is all about feeling good now. You've done your practice. It's time to get the rewards here. And tap and use this hand to lift and push that hand back so you can really get in to the trapezius. And then extend the arm and go down the inside. Bringing energy to the surface, calling it into the Wu Chi fields. We're calling our energy from within the body out to the skin, out into the field, circulating that, and then the roots. Energy from the roots being called out to the surface. Bring the hand underneath and down. Back to the quad. Back to the knife edge. Rub. Pull the hands up and around the hips into the kidneys, pushing into the kidneys as the kidneys feel supported. Let your heart lift to heaven. Lean back. And as it feels comfortable, let your head drop back. Otherwise, keep your chin to your chest. And then gently hinge forward from the hips. Slide your hands down the back of your legs. Bend your knees, reach out, gather. Draw up the inside of the legs. Bring it all the way up the center of the body. Chi shower, big field around. And then reversing that, take the palms outward, rise up, lift up, look up, and pull that heavenly energy down into the body now, guiding it down the same straw from above to below. And reach down, up the inside, retracing the meridian lines, the inside of the legs. Pull the hands up to the heart, opening up that heart like a flower. Draw the arms to the side, up and overhead, reach up, look up, gather, slowly moving the hands back in. Feel them fold in naturally, being pulled by gravity. Back down, back down, back down. Now gather a big ball of energy down. Pull up and cross at the wrists. Bring the hands up. Uncross at the wrists. Bring the arms over. And draw down. Do 2 more like that as we begin to close. So as the hands get next to the lower dantian, they reach around like they're tracing a big ball. Reach down, pulling up the wrist cross. And then they uncross and open to source and draw source down. We're drawing it down to the Jing energy, if you will, or the lower dantian. Placing our hands at the lower dantian around the navel center. And again, close your eyes. Bring your hands together and we'll begin to trace the large intestine. You're going up the right side, so I may be doing a mirror image. It might not look the same, but close your eyes, move your hands to the right side of your body, and then up over the navel, transverse to the left, and go down towards the left hip, underneath the navel to the right side, creating a big circular energy around the navel. And imagine you're assisting the large intestine in eliminating the waste material from the body. Anything that needs to go is being supported in leaving the body easily on a regular basis. Keeping the body clean. It's a big part of keeping the energy moving and avoiding stagnation. Then bring the hands up to the heart again. Turning the hands out, push out. Good, across the wrists. Pull the hands back and up. And down, overhead and back. Behind the head and around. Creating a fist with either the right hand, your yang hand, if you need more strength in your yang, or with the left hand if you need building strength in your yin. Bring it towards the heart, bowing forward, acknowledging the mystery that brought us together and having curiosity where it will take us next. Thank you for practicing with me today.